Hey YNR fans! Waving hand, welcome to YNR Trends, your go-to spot for the juiciest Young and the Restless updates, shocking spoilers, and all the drama you can't stop talking about. From surprise returns to scandalous twists, we break it all down for you, every day. So grab your coffee, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive right into Genoa City's hottest gossip. The week of September 15th to September 19th, 2025, in Genoa City promises to be one of those stretches where every secret seems ready to spill and every decision could alter the course of families who have fought for decades to protect their legacies. The Newman clan finds themselves in the middle of more chaos than they bargained for when Victor's patience runs thin. He has always been the man who doesn't just control his empire but the lives of everyone orbiting him, and when he feels that power slipping, he doesn't hesitate to lash out. This week, he draws a firm line with Cain, and that line isn't just about business or family, it's a threat that could spiral into something darker. Cain has been maneuvering in shadows again, his past as Dumas still haunting him, but he believes he's smart enough to outwit Victor. Yet, Victor Newman is never one to be underestimated, and when he vows to take Cain down if he doesn't back off, the room chills as though the walls themselves have absorbed the weight of his fury. For Cain, this isn't just about survival, it's about protecting the fragments of dignity he still clings to, but Victor makes it clear that in Genoa City, there's only room for one man to dictate the rules. Meanwhile, Amy is left reeling when the ghost she thought she'd buried comes roaring back into her life. For months she's told herself that Damien was gone, that the man she once trusted, feared, and maybe even loved in her own complicated way, had met his end. But whispers and shadows have a cruel way of becoming flesh, and when she sees proof that Damien is not only alive but watching her, the scream that escapes her throat echoes through the walls like a warning bell no one can ignore. Her world shatters instantly, because Damien's return means every lie she's told, every fragile step forward, is at risk of collapsing. The way she clutches at the table for support, the way her breath hitches, makes it clear, this is not just shock, it's the terror of knowing the past has claws sharp enough to tear apart the present. Amy is forced to face the reality that her safety, and possibly the safety of those around her, is now hanging by a thread, and Damien has always been the kind of man who enjoys pulling threads until everything unravels. While Amy's world is turned upside down, Nick and Sharon's fragile attempts to rebuild what they once had crumble under the weight of misunderstandings and long-simmering resentments. Nick thought he could step carefully, that by moving slow he could win Sharon's trust again, but his old habits resurface at the worst possible time. Sharon catches him in yet another half-truth, and though it might seem small on the surface, for her it represents every wound he's left unhealed. Their near kiss, the moment that seemed like it could rekindle something beautiful, is now stained by doubt. Sharon refuses to be anyone's consolation prize, not when she has fought so hard to stand on her own. The heartbreak in Nick's eyes tells the story of a man who keeps sabotaging the very thing he longs for most, but Sharon doesn't let herself waver this time. Her voice is steady as she reminds him that love without trust is nothing but a trap, and she won't let herself fall into it again. For Nick, the realization hits hard, he may have just destroyed his last chance with the one woman who has always truly known him. At the Abbott mansion, Jack and Diane are caught in a storm of their own when Claire's behavior begins raising red flags. At first it was subtle, missed calls, vague explanations, a shiftiness in her eyes when pressed too hard, but this week, the curtain pulls back a little further. Jack and Diane discover that Claire has been harboring a secret, and it's not just any secret, it's one that could ripple through every corner of their carefully constructed piece. Diane, who has fought tooth and nail to rebuild trust with Jack and her family, feels her stomach twist as she realizes that the girl she wanted so badly to see as part of their future may be keeping something monumental from them. Jack, always the voice of reason but also a man who has learned the hard way that denial solves nothing, pushes for answers. Their discovery doesn't give them clarity, though, it deepens the mystery, leaving them to wonder what kind of game Claire is playing and whether her connection to the Newmans might be more complicated than they ever suspected. For Diane, who has made mistakes of her own, the fear isn't just about betrayal, it's about the possibility that history is repeating itself right under her roof. Over at Chancellor Winters, Devon and Lily find themselves pulled into corporate battles that feel more personal by the day. Lily, still grappling with the trauma Kane has left in her life, is blindsided when his name resurfaces in the business world in ways she never saw coming. She tells herself she's done with him, that his manipulations and schemes can't touch her anymore, but business and personal lives in Genoa City have always been entangled, and Kane knows how to exploit every crack. Devon tries to be the anchor, reminding Lily that she's stronger than she gives herself credit for, but he too knows the dangerous pull of family ties and broken promises. The boardroom becomes a battlefield where loyalty is tested, and whispers of betrayal make everyone question who's truly on their side. The stakes are high, not just for the company, but for their own sanity. Kane's shadow looms larger than ever, and though Lily tells herself she's immune, her clenched jaw and restless pacing betray the truth, he still gets under her skin in ways she hates to admit. As the week builds toward its climax, the air in Genoa City feels thick with the weight of secrets ready to explode. Damien's shadow threatens Amy, Victor's fury puts Kane on notice, Jack and Diane's discovery shakes their family foundation, and Nick and Sharon's fragile connection fractures once more. It's the kind of week where every scene feels like a ticking clock, every confrontation feels like it could be the one to change everything. And as Friday closes in, viewers will be left on the edge of their seats, knowing that whatever happens next, Genoa City will never quite be the same. The cyclical nature of human drama, particularly within the microcosm of a place like Genoa City, ensures that the week of September 15th to September 19th, 2025, on The Young and the Restless is not one of quiet resolution but of escalating tension, where the consequences of past actions begin to bear their inevitable, often bitter, fruit. The narrative threads, carefully woven over preceding months, are pulled taut, threatening to unravel the fragile stability that some characters have fought to maintain while offering others a glimpse of opportunity amidst the chaos. This period in the soap's history is defined by a series of pivotal confrontations, strategic manipulations, and emotional revelations that collectively push the overarching storylines toward their next critical juncture, all while adhering to the timeless soap opera tenets of love, betrayal, power, and family. At the heart of the week's turmoil lies the ever-complicated saga of the Newman family, a dynasty built as much on secrets and ruthlessness as it is on business acumen and familial loyalty, however conditional that loyalty may be. Victor Newman, the patriarch whose influence casts a long shadow over every corner of the city, finds himself in a familiar position, playing chess with the lives of those around him, believing his strategy to be the only one that can ultimately protect his empire and his bloodline. His focus is sharply divided between the corporate threat posed by the merged Chancellor Winters and the internal, more personal threat of familial discord. Victor's maneuvers are not those of a man enjoying retirement but of a general who cannot cede control of the battlefield. He engages in a series of private, intense conversations, each designed to test allegiance and reinforce his authority. His interactions with Victoria are particularly telling. He probes her leadership at Newman Enterprises, questioning her recent decisions not with the blunt force of his earlier years but with a more subtle, psychological pressure that leaves her doubting her own instincts. He is, in essence, gaslighting a CEO, a masterclass in manipulation designed to ensure she remains dependent on his counsel, thereby maintaining his de facto control. Victoria, for her part, is a character straining under the weight of her own ambition and her father's legacy. The week sees her grappling with the isolation of command. Her relationship with Cole remains a source of strength, but even that is tested as the pressures of the business and the lingering specter of Claire's integration into the family create subtle fissures. Victoria is attempting to be a mother, a CEO, and a daughter, and the conflicting demands of these roles are beginning to show. In the boardroom, she projects an image of unshakable confidence, making bold moves against Chancellor Winters to assert Newman's dominance. Yet, in private moments, the facade cracks. A poignant scene likely finds her alone in her office after hours, staring out at the Genoa City skyline, the weight of her decisions pressing down on her. She is every inch her father's daughter, yet she is desperately trying to define what that means on her own terms, a battle Victor seems intent on ensuring she never fully wins. Meanwhile, the other Newman siblings are embroiled in their own defining struggles. Nick finds himself caught in a classic emotional tug-of-war, his loyalties divided between his father's empire and his own moral compass, which frequently draws him toward the orbit of the Abbott family and, more specifically, Sally Spectra. His storyline this week is one of mediation and mounting frustration. He serves as an intermediary between the warring factions of his family, attempting to prevent total combustion. His scenes with Victor are charged with a history of disappointment and a lingering desire for approval, while his interactions with Victoria are a mix of sibling solidarity and competitive tension. However, it is his dynamic with Adam that provides some of the week's most electrically charged moments. The brothers share a confrontation that has been building for weeks, if not years. It is less a shouting match and more a quiet, seething exchange of truths and accusations that have long been left unsaid. Nick's accusation that Adam is perpetually waiting for the family to reject him, thus creating a self-fulfilling prophecy, hits a nerve so deep that it leaves Adam visibly shaken. This is not the typical brotherly squabble, it is a psychological unmasking that changes the dynamic between them, for better or worse. Adam's journey throughout this week is arguably the most transformative. The confrontation with Nick acts as a catalyst, forcing him to confront the very core of his identity. Is he the perpetual outsider, the dark stain on the pristine Newman legacy, or can he redefine himself outside of his father's narrative? His work with Sally Spectra at Newman Media becomes both a refuge and a battleground. Their professional partnership, fraught with unresolved romantic tension and a shared history of being misunderstood, enters a new phase of intense collaboration. They are kindred spirits, both striving for success on their own merits in a world eager to define them by their past mistakes. A key sequence involves the two of them working late, a scene charged with creative energy and unspoken affection. They push each other, challenge each other's ideas, and in a moment of breakthrough, share a look that communicates more than any declaration of love could. It is a testament to the show's ability to build romance not through grand gestures, but through shared professional respect and a deep, empathetic understanding of each other's damaged souls. However, Victor's looming presence threatens this fragile equilibrium. His disapproval of their connection is palpable, and he makes a move intended to drive a wedge between them, setting the stage for future conflict. Beyond the Newman orbit, the corporate war between Newman Enterprises and Chancellor Winters provides a thrilling backdrop of high-stakes business intrigue. The merged company, under the leadership of Devin Hamilton and Lily Winters, represents a new, more progressive force in Genoa City, one that stands in direct opposition to Victor's old-world tactics. This week, their strategy becomes more aggressive. A key plot point involves them pursuing a major acquisition or a lucrative client that Newman Enterprises also covets. The boardroom scenes are sharp and tense, filled with corporate jargon that masks very personal animosities. Devin's calculated ambition clashes with Lily's more measured, strategic approach, revealing slight but significant differences in their leadership styles. Their conflict isn't overt, it is seen in a lingering glance after a meeting, a slight hesitation before agreeing to a risky plan. The underlying tension regarding Lily's departure and Billy Abbott's role within the company continues to simmer, adding another layer of complexity to their decision-making process. This isn't just business, it's a statement of identity for Chancellor Winters, a declaration that they are not merely a competitor but the future of Genoa City's corporate landscape. The Abbott family, forever intertwined with the Newmans, provides the emotional and familial counterpoint to the week's corporate machinations. Jack Abbott, the moral center of the show in many ways, is once again thrust into the role of patriarch and peacemaker. His primary concern is the well-being of his brother, Billy, whose impulsive nature continues to be a source of anxiety. Jack's scenes with Billy are a masterclass in fraternal dynamics, blending concern, frustration, and unwavering love. He attempts to guide Billy toward a more stable path, perhaps even offering him a renewed, more significant role at Jabot, seeing it as a safer harbor than the turbulent waters of Chancellor Winters. Billy, however, remains a wild card. His storyline this week is one of restless energy and potential backsliding. The pressure of his professional life and the complexity of his relationship with Chelsea Lawson tempt him toward old habits. There is a palpable sense of danger surrounding Billy, a feeling that he is one bad decision away from a major relapse into the chaos that has defined so much of his life. A close encounter with a past temptation, perhaps a gambling opportunity or a shady business contact, serves as a crucial test of his character, a moment that will have significant repercussions for his future. Chelsea Lawson's arc is deeply tied to Billy's instability. Her journey of redemption and her struggle to build a legitimate business and a stable life for herself and her son, Connor, is perpetually threatened by the turbulence of those she loves. This week, she is forced to make a difficult choice between her unwavering support for Billy and her hard-won need for self-preservation. A powerful scene likely features her delivering an ultimatum to Billy, not out of anger, but out of a heartbreaking necessity to protect herself from being pulled back into a cycle of dysfunction. This moment is crucial for her character development, marking a transition from a woman defined by her relationships to one who defines her own boundaries. Elsewhere in Genoa City, the personal and romantic entanglements provide the necessary emotional texture to the overarching power struggles. Daniel Romolotti and Heather Stevens' relationship continues to evolve, facing external pressures from Lucy's adjustment to their blended family and the occasional meddling of Danny Romolotti, whose presence is a constant reminder of the past. Sharon Rosales, ever the empathetic confidant, finds herself drawn into the drama of others, particularly that of Nick and Adam, offering counsel that is both wise and subtly revealing of her own enduring connections to the Newman family. Her scenes provide moments of quiet reflection amidst the storm, reminding the audience of the enduring human capacity for compassion and understanding. The week builds toward a climax that is both narrative and emotional. It is not a single event, but a convergence of crises. Victor's latest manipulation is discovered by a key player, perhaps Victoria or Nick, leading to a seismic confrontation that questions the very foundation of the family's dynamic. The corporate battle between Newman and Chancellor Winters reaches a fever pitch with a shocking twist, such as a last-minute betrayal or an unforeseen legal hurdle that leaves both companies reeling. And on a personal level, a relationship that has been teetering on the brink, be it Billy and Chelsea's, or the burgeoning connection between Adam and Sally, faces a defining moment of truth that will irrevocably alter its course. The week of September 15th does not provide easy answers. Instead, it masterfully raises the stakes, deepens the character conflicts, and leaves the audience with a profound sense of anticipation for the upheavals to come. It is a testament to the enduring power of the soap opera genre, demonstrating that within the seemingly endless cycle of conflict and reconciliation, one can find a compelling and nuanced reflection of the most complex aspects of human nature itself.